We've added several new features inside of Accessibility Tracker, so we're going to go through an updated demo. Before we start, I'm going to tab to this accessible.org sample audit report. And so you can see that this is very detailed. We've got an Excel spreadsheet with several columns. I'm going to scroll down for effect just so you can see that this audit report has over 100 issues, which is not uncommon at all. We've got several columns, including the page URL, the associated WCAG success criteria, the environment, the issue description, the applicable code, the recommended fix, and so on. So we've got this very valuable audit report. And what's so important is that Accessibility Tracker is based on this audit report. That's the only way that we can track towards full WCAG conformance, because as you very likely know, scans are extremely limited. They're only going to flag approximately 25% of accessibility issues. And when you look at the marketplace, virtually every accessibility platform that you come across is scan-based. It's all automated, and that's not what we need. That can be a nice feature, but that's not what we need. We need to track towards full WCAG conformance, and the only way that we can have that, or that we can do that, is if we have a technical accessibility expert who logs all of the issues, and then we track all of the issues. So that is what Accessibility Tracker enables you to do. So I'm going to go back to Tracker now. I'm already logged in, so we're going to go to the dashboard, and let's create a new project. So I'm going to go ahead and title this Company Accessibility Project. For the description, let's say working towards full WCAG 2.1 AA conformance. I'll leave the other prompts blank, and we will create this project. All right, so what will load now is the individual project view, but we don't have any accessibility issues, and you can see this with no issues found. So what we need to do is upload that audit report that I just showed you. So we're going to go ahead and add the report now. You can't see it, but I've just opened up a window to select the file. I'm selecting the file now, and we can see that the file has uploaded successfully, and importantly, all of the column data has mapped successfully, and we can see this with this map preview. So if you're using an audit report from another service provider, then you just want to make sure that the columns map correctly, because then everything else will be in place for you to track progress, etc. But it's so important that we start with the correct mapping. And here you can see with an accessible.org report, it's already going to map instantly. But if it didn't, all you need to do is map the fields below. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and process the data now. We can see that 123 issues were successfully processed. Now we need to save the issues to the project. This is going to take a few seconds because there's a lot to go through, but now you can see that this has happened. We've got some initial analytics. We've also got some data visualizations, but that's not the focus for this demo. We're just going to continue on with the issues. And what we now come across with the issue view is we've really got the audit report transposed inside of Accessibility Tracker. So this is where everything starts to open up with our project, because now we've got the ability to make it dynamic. We've got the ability to assign team members to issues. Let's go back to the audit report and just go ahead and contrast what we have on the screen versus the audit report. So going back, we have an Excel spreadsheet. We've got all of this valuable audit report data, but we can't do that much with it. We don't have that much functionality here, and we can't leverage the data. Inside of Accessibility Tracker, we can. So going back to this broad issue view, we can see we've got the issue, we've got the location, we've got the associated WCAG success criteria, and now things start to really open up. We've got a column to assign the issues. And in the near future, you'll be able to bulk assign issues to different team members. But as it stands, we can assign each issue to a team member. So I'm going to assign the issue to info@accessible.org. And then very importantly, we can update the status of each issue. So let's say that your team wants to mark an issue as in progress. They're working on it. Then that will be the status. Let's say that they fix the issue, they can mark it as completed. And then the final step is going to be validation. So where we want to be is where we have the validated status for the issue, because that means the issue is complete and it's been resolved. If it still needs work after you receive validation, then you'll have the needs work status. So the status column is a very, very important column. Moving on, we see two prioritization formulas. So we've got user impact and we've got risk factor. Now, if we want to sort the issues by the most overall impact to the most number of users, then we'll sort by user impact. So I'll just show you this now. I'll sort once, it will go to all of the issues starting at the lowest score, and then I'll sort again, and then we've got the issues starting at the highest score. So we can see we've got the label of high, but we've also got the scoring of 97. So that gives you some precision as you're going through the issues. And it's not just that we have 3 or 4 severity, let's just call them severity ratings. Now we've got the actual number assigned to the priority. Now, that's just one prioritization formula. We can also sort by risk factor. So risk factor is a data-driven formula, and this really just tells you how much risk each issue presents if you're concerned with the ongoing serial website accessibility litigation in the United States. So I'm going to go ahead and sort by risk factor. We'll go to low, and then we'll sort again, and we can sort by high, and we can see that the first issue is marked as critical. It's scored as 100. And then if we keep scrolling down, we can see we've got several issues that are marked as critical. We've got 98. Now we've got 96, 94. I'm going to go to the second listing of issues, and then we can just see it just continues to descend 94, 92, 88, and so on. So what we want to do, if we're concerned with any type of lawsuit or demand letter, then we can go ahead and just go to risk factor and start sorting. All right, but as you may have noticed, this is really only the broad view for the audit report data. So I'm going to view the issue. And what happens now is we finally get all of the audit report data. So now we've got the data extracted from the accessibility audit report. I'm going to tab back to it now, and you can see there are a lot of details here to get through. So now we need to go to the individual issue view. I'm going to tab back to tracker, and we can see all of this data has been brought forward. And let's scroll down. And what we can do is we can add notes to the issue if we'd like. And actually, we can edit the issue if we want to. So we can edit issue, we can edit any of this information. You usually don't want to do this, but it is an option if you'd like to. I'm going to go ahead and let's just go ahead and add a sample note to this issue. So I'll just write note, and that will be there. And then I'll go ahead and save the changes. And so this note will now be inside of the issue. All right, so continuing on, one of the new features is we now have a comment log. So we have the ability to track any comments or any activity. And what this does is it not only provides transparency, but it gives us the level of attention to detail that we really need when we're working on an accessibility project, because now we know for every single issue, what is the latest? What is going on? What's the latest update? What is the latest comment from a team member? We have that now. So let's go ahead and just write comment on issue, and we'll post that comment. And so now we have this as well. So any status updates, any updates, whether they are automated updates just because we've updated the status of an issue or because we've made a comment, that's all going to be in this panel. So very helpful, brand new feature that is now present. And what we're going to do now is go to another marquee feature inside of Accessibility Tracker, and that is Analyze with AI. So what comes up is the ability to analyze this single issue with using 5 different tools. And so why this is so important is many teams are newer to accessibility. And so it's very helpful if you have AI to guide you as you're working through the issues, as you're going through your workflow. And so now you don't have to go outside of the dashboard. You have AI to help you. Not only that, AI has access to the data. So it has access to the actual issue and the applicable code from, let's say, your website or your web page or web app, et cetera. So now you have this data, and let's go ahead and choose the Simplify and Explain tool. So let's just say your developer is brand new to accessibility. Here we have, what is this issue in simple terms? Why does it matter for users with disabilities? How does it affect different types of users? And so on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this. We're going to go back to the tools. I'm going to go to Detailed Technical Answer. Developers will be using this tool a lot. I'm going to generate analysis. And here we've got the current implementation problems. We've got an analysis, the technical recommendations, very, very nice code snippets, step-by-step instructions, explanation of the solution, testing methods, and so on. And again, this is all specific to our digital asset. And keep in mind that Accessibility Tracker doesn't just work for websites. This works for all types of digital assets. So mobile apps, web apps, software, whatever the case is, you can, as long as you have an audit report, you can work through that inside of Accessibility Tracker. So this is here as well. All right, so we've gone through some of the primary features, but there are still some more very helpful ways that you can not only accelerate your accessibility project, but keep it more organized and keep it more efficient so that you're not only moving faster, you're saving more money as you go. So let's go to AI Insights. So we've got 4 total projects in our portfolio. And what we can do is let's just go ahead and take a quick action, and let's just go to Portfolio Overview. And I've entered in the prompt, what's the overall accessibility status across my projects? So I'll go ahead and enter that. And then AI is going to start streaming the answer. It's going to take a few seconds because there's a lot of data. And now we've got the portfolio overview, total issues tracked, average impact score, average risk factor score, issue distribution, and so on. Common WCAG guidelines violated, average statistics by project. And so it's just such helpful data. And this becomes really beneficial as you have more projects. So for many clients, they're only working on one project, but sometimes clients are working on multiple projects, let's say even 10 or 20. And so this really starts to, you really start to see the compounding benefits here. So that is AI Insights. And let's go ahead and go into reports now. So let's go ahead and view one of these reports. And by the way, these are not weekly reports. That's currently the designation. We're going to change that. But I've already generated a report, and I'm not doing this now because it takes a few minutes to complete. But once it's complete, you have a really nice report. So here we see executive summary and current issue status, issue distribution analysis, risk factor distribution, WCAG conformance assessment, risk assessment and business impact, and so on. And this is all AI generated. This is available to you within a few minutes. And you can see that this is for one project. So very, very helpful data. Let's go back to reports. And now let's actually go to, before I get to the scan, let's go through a few more things. We're going to go to projects. And I'm going to go back to the company accessibility project that we're working from. And let's go ahead and go here and view the details. And so what we can even do is if your digital asset is a product or service and you want to self-issue your own ACR, you can do that inside of Accessibility Tracker. So I'll go ahead and start the process. You do have to fill in some prompts to do this. But let's go ahead and start the process just so you can get a feel for what's going on here. And so we can enter in all of the details. So we see company name, product version, product description. This is all working in tandem with the actual VPAT. So VPAT stands for Voluntary Product Accessibility Template. This is a document that we use. It's a standardized document that is used to report on the accessibility of a product or service, an ICT product or service. So here you can fill this information in and generate that VPAT. And what you can also do is work from the current status of your audit report. So let's say that you are halfway through your project and you want to provide an ACR to a procurement agent. You could do just that. Now, if you're unfamiliar with VPATs and ACRs, you don't need to worry too much about this. This isn't going to be for traditional websites anyway, but for ICT products and services, this is a very helpful feature that can really help any organizations who have multiple digital assets that they need to account for, multiple products or services. And if they're issuing in-house, this can save a lot of time and money because now you can have AI generate your VPAT from your audit report status, and then you can fill in all of the information here. So I'm not going to go all the way through this because it does take some time, but we do have a separate video on this. But this is a very, very helpful feature. And as far as I can tell, we are the first ones to actually have AI fill in a VPAT. And of course, you still need to review after because AI can make errors and omissions, but this is going to save you a lot of time. So let's go ahead and go back to our project and go to team members. So we've got team members, and what we can do is you can see in my account, I have up to 10 team members per project, and we can add new team members and make them either a project member or a project manager. So I'm going to add Tim at clientsite.com, and Tim will remain a project member, and I will save those changes. And now we can assign Tom to any of the issues inside of our audit report. So let's go ahead and add another team member, and let's just say they're a project manager, and let's say you've got yourself as the project owner, and you've got a project manager. Let's say Sarah at clientsite.com. And then we will make them project manager. And so now they will have full insight, full ability within the project. All right, so we've got that. And then let's say that you are an accessible.org client and you are ready to add a technical accessibility expert to your project. Let's go to add member, and then let's just add myself, Chris at accessible.org. And then we will make me a project manager, save the changes. And what's nice, which is a bonus if you're an accessible.org client, is this is not taking up a team member slot. So that's just a bonus that we've added recently if you're going through accessible.org. But again, you don't need to go through accessible.org to use Accessibility Tracker. All right, so we've talked about the comment log. We've also added a comment log for the project. So let's just say we have someone who wants to ask, when is the project expected to be completed? And we'll go ahead and add that, post the comment. And so now we have this comment posted, and what's really happening here is the collaboration is taking place more and more inside of Accessibility Tracker. So we have less emails, less Slack messages, less communication outside. So again, we're bringing about efficiency, transparency, organization, helping everyone work through this centralized hub to really and truly streamline your project so that you're saving time. Because just imagine if you have to go through email and then you have email threads where some people are included, some people aren't. Maybe you didn't reply all on one email and you wanted to. Now everybody has transparency that needs to. So this again is very, very helpful. And this is available to you inside of Accessibility Tracker. Now, let's go ahead and go to the scan. We recently added this feature, and this was by popular demand. So you can now scan web pages. And let's go ahead and just start a new scan. So I'm going to go ahead and use ESPN as an example. So let's go to ESPN.com. I'm going to enter in this URL, ESPN.com/NBA. And let's go ahead and leave this as, actually, we'll write ESPN scan. And we'll name that the scan name. And we can set the schedule to daily, weekly, monthly, or make it custom days so that we have this scanning and monitoring. Now, as I've mentioned, scans are limited. Scans only flag approximately 25% of accessibility issues, but that doesn't mean there's some benefit. The problem with scans is that they're oftentimes oversold and exaggerated in terms of what they can do. But as long as you understand what they can do, it's helpful to have a scan that is running between audits, because you're not going to have an audit that's conducted, let's say, every 2 months. That would just be too often. So what you can do is have scanning and monitoring for your web pages that you'd like to have scanning and monitoring for, and then so we can have this ongoing. So I'm just going to run this once just to show you the scan. So we'll start the scan now, and it's going to take a few seconds, but then after a few seconds, we should have the automated results for, in this case, ESPN.com/NBA. So we can see here there are 67 total issues, 26 of critical, 40 high, and then we've got this reminder that scans only flag 25% of accessibility issues. But we can just go through, we can see, let's just look at these color contrast issues. We can see all of the different instances of color contrast issues. We can go here and look at the issue, fix any of the following, and then insufficient color contrast. I mean, just, it's so helpful here. Like, everything's laid out, it's organized, and this is available to you as a separate feature with an accessibility tracker plan. Many platforms, they base their entire platform around the scan. This scan is just here in case you want scanning and monitoring. Accessibility tracker, the audit-based aspect of it is fundamental, and it's the center of everything. But if you want a scan, this feature is now available to you. All right, so we've gone through scanning. Let's actually go to plan details. And so we've got plan details, and we've got more AI, by the way, available. And there was one other, for scanning. You will soon be able to scan pages that require authentication, and you'll be able to do this through a Chrome extension. So that is coming in the next few months. That's a new feature that we are adding. But for now, let's look at plan details. And I mentioned there is AI within any of your projects. If you have a question that you'd like to ask AI, you can do so on the project side, not just the portfolio, not just the individual issue, but for the individual project. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and go to our plan details, and we can see how much of these different credits that we're using. So we can see that we have issues per project, members per project. In my case, I have 1,000 issues and 10 team members. We also have the number of AI interactions per issue allowed, and then we have the number of pages per scan. And that is for my plan inside of Accessibility Tracker, and I have an enterprise plan. And if we scroll down, what's really nice is we have add-ons. So what we've done with Accessibility Tracker is we've made it very flexible so that you don't have to, if you don't want to level up your plan for, let's just say, adding additional team members, you don't need to. All you need to do is go inside of the add-ons marketplace and decide what you'd like to add on. So you can add VPAC credits, scan credits, page boost, that increases the number of pages per scan, extra projects, you can add more projects, more team members, extra issues, and add additional AI interaction credits. And this is all here so that you have the ultimate flexibility when it comes to your plan, and you can purchase these individual items and just add them to your plan. And you can sign up for a 1 month. You can sign up for 1 month. You can sign up for 6 months, a year, or 2 years. It's all up to you. You get a discount if you sign up longer. If not, you can just go month to month. We've even got a free plan so that you can try Accessibility Tracker out. So we've gone through many of the features. We're adding more. We're still adding more. There's still more to come. More features, just making this better. Like, the optimal experience is really what we're after. And as we're going through this demo, you might think, well, this has everything, and that's exactly the point. We want you to have the perfect platform for your accessibility project that just makes everything easy and intuitive and seamless, so that you're saving a lot of time and you're saving a lot of money. I mean, we can already, right now, you can save hours on your project just by using Accessibility Tracker. And not only that, it keeps everything organized and your project's not skewed. You don't have a skewed outlook because you're not working towards 100% score on a scan. When you look towards compliance, and when you look towards the end objective, it's full WCAG conformance. Whether the standard is 2.1 AA or 2.2 AA, nobody is stating, hey, our objective is to get 100% score on a scan. That's not what that's not the compliance requirement. That's not what the end objective is. Now, 100% score is on a scan is always good, but what you really want is to track full WCAG conformance. And now you can do this. There's so much here. I haven't even covered all of the features, and we're just continuing to add to this. This is the best accessibility platform in the marketplace by far. And we're going to continue to make it better. We're going to continue to integrate AI. So you're just saving more time and more money. And we get to the point where it's illogical not to use Accessibility Tracker. Even if you go through another company, you'll still want to come back and use Accessibility Tracker because the value is all here. And as you're working on an accessibility project, you will realize there is a lot of efficiency to be gained when you start to use and leverage some of these features. But even just in a single accessibility project, you can save tens of hours versus trying to do this, let's say, through a spreadsheet, or trying to do this where, there are many companies today, many accessibility companies to this day, that are still they're ultimately using a spreadsheet because their platform is scan-based. And so you can work through the scans as much as you want, but you're still not going to have the complete outlook on your accessibility project. So this is here, Accessibility Tracker. You can sign up for a free plan at accessibilitytracker.com. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you have any feature requests, feel free to reach out to us. We've already added several feature requests from prospective clients and customers. So we're really making this to be even better, even though it's already the best digital accessibility platform on the marketplace.